Okay, so thank you so much everyone for joining today's session. And today we are going to talk about that how energy works inside our brain and how we can preserve our energy for our well-being or for doing everyday duties so that we do not, get burnout and we can maintain our peace of mind. Now, uh, brain is like a computer, and it's very interesting that brain has only 2% of our body mass, but it consumes 20% of the overall energy, or it consumes 20% of our daily calorie. And it's really mesmerizing that brain never sleeps. Maybe we all are sleeping at night, but brain does not sleep. So brain keeps on working. It's a 24 into 7 kind of computer, and even when we are sleeping or we are dreaming, it keeps working in the background. Inside the brain, we have neurons, right? And inside the neurons, we have a tiny powerhouse where it stores energy, and this powerhouse is called mitochondria. You must have read it in your biology class in the school or in your university. So, mitochondria is a powerhouse where the energy gets stored, and in brain, it gets stored inside the neuron, inside the mitochondria. What does this mitochondria do? It takes oxygen when we breathe, and it takes glucose from the food that we eat every day. And then it creates ATP. The full form of ATP is adenosine triphosphate. Adenosine triphosphate. This ATP works like our neural currency. So if I just put it into a layman term, so brain spends this ATP to fire a signal, and for less complex task or for less or maybe a simple task, maybe it will consume, it will spend less amount of ATP, like $1, 1 USD. For some complex task, maybe learning a new language or doing some coding work, or some more cognitive uh, overloading kind of skill, it will spend more ATP, like 100 USD. So ATP is kind of our neural currency. Now, what happens when this ATP gets lower inside our brain? What happens? The brain shuts down all the non-essential system. See, our brain is evolved for survival. Brain does not care whether we are happy or whether we are not happy, whether we are focused or not focused, whether we are creative or not creative. So when this ATP becomes low, the brain shuts down all this non-essential system like our focus, our mood, our patience, our creativity, and the brain only preserve those energy for the survival functions. Okay, which is the most important task for the brain so that we can survive. And this is how our brain has evolved for thousands of years. Now, we do not have infinite amount of energy every day. So we consume food, and from the food and the glucose, the brain creates this with the oxygen. Brain creates this ATP, and the brain spends ATP whenever we are doing anything. You are thinking something, then also the ATP is spent. You are playing games, then also ATP, the brain is spending ATP. So it's a kind of currency. Whatever we do, any cognitive task, the brain is going to spend the ATP. And sometimes when it gets lower, either brain will do some budgeting or the remaining amount of energy brain will spend only for the survival function. Now, today's session is not about learning all about this kind of ATP or the biology of the brain, but how we can preserve our energy, the, mostly the energy in our brain. And brain is the most important organ in our body, and therefore and our mental health is intertwined with our brain health. Our mental health is directly connected with our brain health. So brain health is all about the neurotransmitter, the brain organs, how the different part of our brain is working. So that is a brain health. Mental health is more in the realm of emotions, feelings, anxiety, fear, but it is directly connected with the brain health. So the first thing about become more energetic and have a sharp brain is to have a good sleep every night or deep sleep. Now it depends. Maybe uh, it differs from person to person. One person uh, can sleep for 6 hours and he can function normally. Maybe another person might take 8 hours. It varies from person to person because our biology is different, our metabolic functions are different, and our brain are also unique. Not all people brain are same. So the deep sleep is a kind of restoration phase. Uh, so what happens when we go through deep sleep? The brain cell shrinks, and which actually, cleans up the molecular trash, which is known as beta amyloid. Beta amyloid is kind of sticky substance which is stick to the different neurons, and when we sleep and the brain cell shrinks, the plumbing system inside the brain, the fluid actually flush this toxin. So it's very important that every night we have a good sleep, at least for 6 hours to 7 hours. Again, as I told, it varies from person to person, but 6 hour is bare minimum. Okay. So the first thing that we can do to preserve our brain energy and to have a good sleep at every night. The second is our food habit. Uh, the brain runs on glucose. It does not mean that we have to eat sweet stuff all the time. No, then what will happen? The brain will get addicted, and after you finish the ice cream or something which is very sweet in nature, which has a lot of glucose, the brain will be into the panic mode because it's not getting the previous amount of glucose which you sent earlier. So it is best to have some slow burn food, maybe some carbs and maybe some healthy fats. And definitely we can have a little amount of sugar every day, but it's a different topic altogether. If you really want to know about some food which is good for our brain, you can go to YouTube, and there is a nice podcast which was made by Andrew Huberman, who is a neuroscientist, and you can check this podcast around half an hour that what are the good foods for our brain. But yes, we need to have some carbs and some healthy fats, and the brain is basically 75% of water, and when the water level goes down to even 2-3%, we have some kind of brain fog. So we need to hydrate ourselves. uh, we need to stay hydrated, and you must have observed if you do not drink water for prolonged time, maybe 3 hours, 4 hours, you feel some kind of dizziness, you don't have clarity, you don't feel like doing anything because of this thing. You starts having brain fog when this water percentage goes down. So yes, proper diet and hydration is another thing to keep our brain energized. uh, the third thing is interesting. It's called BDNF. The full form of BDNF is a brain derived neurotrophic factor. So, whenever we do any kind of body movement, any kind of exercise, yoga, cycling, trekking, brisk walking, this BDNF get released into our brain, and it actually repairs damaged neurons. So it's a kind of healing which happens when we are taking a brisk walk or when we are doing cycling, any kind of exercise, and it helps growing new neurons. That is why you must have observed that after having a walk, maybe you could solve something, maybe you remembered something, maybe you were better writing an article because of this factor, because of BDNF, and it get released into our brain mostly when we are moving. We are not sitting still, but we are doing some movement, and that could be any kind of movement. But yes, it should not be just for 1 minute, 2 minute. We have to move for at least 10 to 15 minutes, and then we get the benefit of BDNF. Okay. The next thing, which is also very important, and in today's world, sometimes it's difficult to do, and that is monotasking. Monotasking is opposite of multitasking. It has been found that when we are switching tasks, it actually costs 40% more energy. Uh, and sometimes we have to do it. I mean, we don't have any option, but we need to minimize multitasking, because the first thing is switching cost, the task switching cost around 40% of our energy, that is the ATP, adenosine triphosphate. And uh, suppose I am taking a session here at the Buddha Center, and suddenly I got a phone call or maybe a message. I just check the message. To attain the same amount of focus which I was giving earlier, it would take me again 5 to 10 minutes. So here, what is happening when we are doing multitasking? We are losing time, at the same time we are losing our energy. And I will take one example of social media. In social media, what we do, maybe on Facebook or in Instagram, maybe LinkedIn or maybe X.com, we are constantly watching photos of our friends and family, or maybe some shorts videos, some reels, and our brain is consuming a lot of different brain is consuming a lot of energy. Why? Because suppose I'm watching a 1 minute video, and our brain is processing, and maybe the 1 minute video is all about uh, maybe what is happening in the world right now. War is happening, So our brain is processing that information, and then I swap then I the swipe the video, and some other video came, or some other photo of my friend came. Maybe he had gone for a vacation to Paris, and I was checking the photo, the location, what he had written. Again, it is consuming 40% more energy, because abruptly I am switching the task. And that is why you must have felt it before. If you scroll, now we are living in a infinite scrolling kind of world, you feel mentally exhausted. You feel mentally tired because of this thing. Because each time you are watching a video or you are watching a news feed and then you are changing, it is consuming 40% more energy. Uh, so monotasking is another important thing to preserve our brain energy. So but the next time when we are using social media, it's not only necessary social media, any place where we do scrolling. It could be online shopping site. Same thing happens. You go to Amazon or some other shopping site which is very popular in your country. You scroll down, scroll up, same thing happens. Your brain is looking at a product and processing it, and then suddenly you change to another product and then again start processing it, and it's consuming 40% more energy. Uh, does not happen in Second Life. So Second Life is way better, because the scrolling thing is not here in Second Life, but it is there in most of the website and other platform. Uh, Seraphim, I have not tried it. Maybe there is some scrolling involved. Okay, I won't. I go by the words of Neo, you know. Oh, okay, it's a shopping site. Okay, I guess. So, fine, fine. Okay, okay, great. Maybe some places are there in Second Life, but Second Life does not work in the scrolling mechanism, because in Second Life we do not see the targeted advertisement, which is a good thing. But in social media, they go by this targeted mechanism, and it actually not good for our mental health. I don't know whether you have seen it or not. There was a documentary which came few years back, The Social Dilemma. Maybe you can find it on Netflix or some other site. You can check this documentary, The Social Dilemma. Okay, yeah, Raven. I think it is on Netflix. Yes. So very informative, and it actually shows that how this information, this stimuli, this post and feeds and videos and advertisement, how it affects our mental health. So yes, it was very interesting, and it was very uh, eye-opening, I would say, because I see the young generations, Gen Z, and they are always glued to their mobile phone. They are always in the social media, so I just worry about them. So yeah. Uh, Next thing that we can do, just like I told you about exercise. Why? Because it releases BDNF in our brain, which helps to repair damaged neurons, and it helps creating new neural pathway. Every day we can do some kind of deep breathing, or you can practice box breathing. If you do not know what is box breathing, you can go to YouTube and you can check some of the videos. What happens when we do deep breathing and box breathing? Our brain, uh, and whenever you feel panicked or whenever you feel anxious, or when you feel kind of your brain is not working, you're feeling kind of brain fog, or just you're feeling stress, you can use this method, this deep breathing or box breathing, and it takes our brain from survival mode to normal mode. Because what happens in survival mode, the brain only preserve the energy for survival functions. But when we get back to the normal mode, then again brain uses its energy for our focus, for our mood, uh, for our creativity, for thinking, deep thinking, learning something new. So this is another thing that we can do. So five different ways we discussed today. I will just give a quick recap, and then maybe we can go for a question answer session, or you can share your own experience. So what we discussed, that brain takes around 20% of our calorie or energy, and with the oxygen and glucose from our food and breathing, it creates ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate, which is a kind of neural currency. Whatever we do, the brain spend the neural currency. You are watching a movie and you are thinking about something, the brain spends this currency. You are trying to write something, any task where the brain is involved, it is spending the neural currency. Something which is on the autopilot mode, maybe you are doing it for such a long time, brain does not work so much. There we spend very less ATP, like brushing our teeth every day. We are so accustomed, it's a kind of autopilot mode, right? So there we spend less ATP, but in other place we spend more ATP. And when it gets low, the brain goes into the survival mode. Most of the time, when we are feeling stress, or when we have anxiety or panic attack, the brain actually works in a survival mode. And that is why, people say that you take deep breathing, because when we take deep breathing, the we are telling our vagus nerve that, see, you are safe, you don't have to panic, and the brain slowly comes back to the normal mode. You can give some water to your eyes and on your face, and that actually soothes the vagus nerve. What are the different way we can preserve our brain energy? First is we need to have a good sleep every night, at least for 6 hours, so that when we are sleeping, the toxin get flushed out. The second is the food habit and proper hydration. The third is BDNF. Every day we need to do some form of exercise. At least for 15 to 20 minutes is good. If it is half an hour, that is better. And that half an hour could be just walking. It could be yoga, cycling, whatever you feel like. You have to move your body for half an hour every day. If you are very busy, then at least, 3 times in a week or 4 times in a week, it's better. The fourth thing that we discussed is we need to focus on monotasking and not multitasking, because when we are randomly switching tasks, it is actually costing more energy, at least 30 to 40%. And then again, to get back the same amount of focus, the concentration, we are spending more time. So when we are doing multitasking, we are wasting more time and we are wasting more energy, and nothing productive is coming out of it. But sometimes the nature of our work is such that we can't help. Sometimes we all have to do it. The fifth thing that we have discussed, that every day we can practice some kind of deep breathing. There are different kind of breathing. You can check it online. The box breathing is there, deep breathing is there, slow breathing is there, Alternate nostril breathing is there. You can just practice any for 5 minutes, 10 minutes if it is possible. So these are the different things that we can do to preserve our brain energy. And uh, if we connect it with the teaching of Buddha, because that is what I do. Everything that we try to learn, I try to give you some parallels with the teaching of Buddha. Then we can talk about the mindfulness. When we are practicing mindfulness, even if for 2 minutes, 3 minutes, it actually takes the brain out of the survival mode. And when we are doing mindfulness, the brain actually take less energy. Uh, Maybe a thought is coming and it is just going away. And we are not attaching with the thought. We are not brooding. We are not overthinking. We are just calmly witnessing the thought coming and going, just like a passing cloud. And when we practice mindfulness, we are rewiring our brain to consume, less energy. Uh, and this rewiring takes some time, but whenever we are like we have been practicing mindfulness for a long time and you are feeling very panicked and you are feeling very stressed, you can just sit, close your eyes, and just within a few seconds you can go to that calm state. But again, it will not happen overnight. It will take some time to rewire that brain. And there were many research which shows that those people who practice mindfulness every day, even when they are not practicing it, the brain retains some of the properties. And next time you do, for brain, it is easier to get back to that state in less time. Just like any other practice, if you start practicing piano, for the first 1 month, 2 month will be a struggle. But from the third month, you can just touch the finger on a piano and you can start playing the tune because the neural pathway has been created in your brain. And more you practice, this neural pathway is, you know, it, it, it is getting stronger and stronger. So yes, we can connect with the mindfulness practice which preserve the energy. And when we practice it every day, a day will come that when we feel very stressed and when we feel very panicked, we can just sit and the brain just in a few seconds will get back to the calm mode. We can say the Zen mode or the monk mode, whatever you feel like saying. So that was all about today. Now, if you have any question, if you'd like to share your experience, you can do so. We can take for 2-3 minutes and then we will close the session. Yeah, you can use your mic or you can type in the local chat. Okay, so Sophie has written that there are different sutras and practices which emphasize balance and care in eating and sleeping. True, because the Buddha's teaching is to take the middle path, not too strong and not too light or not too, uh, yeah. I have a personal checklist I use during my days. Breathe, slow down, be mindful of the different part of my body, drink, eat something, especially protein. Basically, a mindfulness checklist, the physical part, including breathing, lays a foundation for the next part of my day. Yeah, great. Thank you so much, Sophie, for sharing your daily routine, which includes everything for our well-being. Yeah. Neo said, I agree with the multitasking. It's worthless, but everyone expect us to be ready for it. Yeah, true, Neo. And it's sad, but yes, we don't don't have any choice. Sometimes in office or some other situation, we need to do multitask. But yes, we need to be mindful and we need to keep it, you know, minimal or keep it. We need to minimize it. Fizben says that Namaste Bodhi arrived a bit late but hard enough. What's your view on the ceiling effect where BDNF gets plateau? Sorry, I missed most of it. Okay. Uh, Ceiling effect, I heard about it, Fizben. I was reading an article, but I think you are basically trying to refer that when we keep on exercising and move our body at one point of time, it reaches a plateau and we do not derive the same amount of protein that we derived earlier. That is what you are trying to ask, Fizben? Okay. Because the ceiling effect actually even used in the context of dopamine also. Dopamine also has a ceiling effect. When it's not able to derive the same amount of dopamine and it needs more and more, which happens in addiction. So you are referring to that. You are typing something because I was not able to check it. Uh, you are typing something, Fizpen? I'm not sure whether it's my connection or something, but yes, if you want me to answer it in a correct manner, you can just confirm. And maybe next session I will cover it because I need to study. Uh, I heard about the selling effect of for the dopamine, but not for the BDNF. So yes, I need to study and then I can get back to you. Okay? Or you can just message me later on. You can just IM me and definitely I will try to give you the answer. Okay. Anyone else has any other question? Sophie says that multitasking is hard for me. Autism and hyper focus make task switching difficult. It's sometimes hard to communicate to people. I'll get to their requests soon. I want to give things the attention they deserve. I tell people. I can understand, Sophie. It's not only hard for you; it's hard for all of us. Okay, Fishben says that I'm trying to understand whether BDNF gains from mindfulness and lifestyle changes actually compound over time or whether there is a point where the brain self-regulates and returns diminish and whether that ceiling is biological or mostly behavioral. Okay, so for that I need to study a bit, Fishman. I don't want to give you any wrong information, but yes, there are some brain uh, hormones or some brain proteins which has this kind of tendencies, like it's diminishes over time, like in economics we studied uh, the and I think it was utility of marginal diminishing. So yes, it happens in our brain. But for BDNF, I'm not sure. I will just study and I'll get back to you. Maybe next week. Maybe you can just send me an IM and I will get back to you whenever I get any time. Is that fine, Vishwan? Okay, definitely. I will. Uh, yeah, yeah, definitely. In the next session, I will try to cover, and maybe we can start with this question, and then we can cover. Okay. Okay. I hope no one has any other question. But even if you have question later on, you can ask me on the Discord channel, or you can send me an IM, and I'll be very glad to answer your question, because when you ask me question, it helps me to learn more, explore more, and share more. So that is why I always welcome question. And thank you so much for spending your Saturday morning. Next Saturday we shall again meet and we shall learn something new. Okay. Till then, you all have a wonderful week, and we shall meet next Saturday. Namaste, everyone, and bye for now. Bye.